Welcome, welcome. Thanks everybody for joining us today. My name is Dave. I'm a marketing specialist here at Transfer Express, and I am so very excited to be here today talking about how to market your t-shirt business online. Another one of our marketing specialists here with us today is Mike. So we're going to be kind of tag teaming this one and be able to share all of our experience and hopefully get you guys set up or at least inspired with some ideas on how to market your business. So go ahead and introduce yourself here, Mike.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Like Dave said, I'm Mike, and I'm excited to be able to bring this topic to you. It's pretty important, especially in this time, I think, to be able to market your t-shirt business online. So I think a lot of people have been asking about this over the last year or two. So this is an exciting topic.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we put a lot of work and research into the back end here to make sure that we're going to cover most of our bases. I think if we really dove into all of the marketing techniques and did an in-depth look, we would be sitting here for probably 6 to 8 hours or a couple days in that aspect. But I am fairly new to the Transfer Express family. I, however, have been in the apparel decorating industry and marketing custom printing for almost 10 years now. So I'm just very excited to be here at Transfer Express. The number one thing that really kind of makes me excited to come to work is seeing the impact and helping others succeed in their own business. So I guess we have everybody kind of coming in, and we'll I guess it's recorded for people who are joining us a little late, but we'll dive right into it here and get started. Everybody ready to get started? It's nice to see everybody from yep, Alan, there will be a recording, and it's so nice to see everybody from all across the country and Ghana. Awesome, fantastic. Let's get started here. So today we're going to cover a few topics on how to, really jumpstart your marketing. If you're brand new, if you're just starting a business, or maybe you've had a referral business or working with your local community for a little while, but want to expand and get a little bit more business. Of course, with the current climate of, marketing, a lot of things moved online. We saw e-commerce take a huge boom and Amazon's apparel sales and retail sales slumping, or Amazon's apparel sales boosting and the retail sales kind of slumping over the past year. So now more than ever, online marketing is super important to your business. We will kind of jump in and touch on a few topics like I had mentioned previously. We're going to start with identifying your target audience and growing your brand. Now that's going to be kind of important for setting up the extra steps. So we'll jump into that right off the gate here. We'll touch on building a website that works for you and your specific business and what you're trying to do. I know a lot of people are creating designs and selling designs of their own, like a clothing line, where some other people are doing custom decoration and taking orders from customers. So you're going to build a website that's going to work specifically for what your business is doing. We'll talk about content and search engine optimization strategies. So you'll see us throw out a few, abbreviations here and acronyms, but SEO is search engine optimization. That's going to be getting you your relevant traffic on Google, which is super important to get in front of people actually searching for your business or services that your business offers. In collaboration with that content in SEO, we'll talk about paid ads. So it looks complicated, but it's actually much simpler than it looks at first. So please don't be intimidated, and we'll try to break it down as easy as possible. And again, we're just going to be kind of scratching the surface and getting you inspired. There's tons of resources available out there, and hopefully we'll be able to point you to those so that you could spend more time printing t-shirts and less time researching all this stuff. Then we're going to talk about growing and using an email list. So there's a huge benefit to email lists. If Twitter or Facebook folded, tomorrow, you would lose all of those contacts and, your customers, your fans, the people you were engaging with, you would lose those, but you would keep your email list. That's yours to own. So that's a huge benefit to engaging your users, your customers, your fans, your community, anything you want to do. So we'll talk about that. And then we'll also talk about social media. We've seen a huge boom in TikTok and Instagram and the features that they have available for these brands that are going viral, or creators who are sharing their stories of how they're coming through, they're having their triumphs and their failures while they're starting their business, especially now with the whole pandemic kind of working its way out across the globe. A lot of people's jobs were upended. And we've seen those people come in and, be passionate about and say, I'm going to start my own t-shirt business. And now's the time. And we've seen these people there's some people who have just hit it big with certain posts and went viral in a sense that kind of catapulted their business to levels that are much higher than I think anybody would have anticipated just from social media. And that's just putting in time without spending a dime. So without further ado, let's jump right into identifying your audience.
Yeah,
so,
Dave, real quick here, I just want to add in, like you said, these topics, you could cover a 5-hour webinar on every single one of those agenda items right there. So just saying here, yeah, we want to just provide a lot of inspiration here and like a springboard for basically for you to kind of see what areas there are for online marketing, and then where you could go and research more on what interests you or what areas you might need to know more about. Maybe some areas you're a little bit familiar with, and then areas where you can grow. So with that being said, also, if you do have questions throughout the webinar, you can post them in the chat there. And as Andy likes to say, we do have a helper behind the curtain who will be answering any questions that we may miss. And also, we will be sending out the slides and recording afterwards.
I like that thrown in the Andyisms, make it feel like he's still here and throw some tribute to him as we cover these topics. But yeah, I'll jump right in here with the identifying your audience. So these are questions, that are really going to help inform any campaigns that you're going to be putting, in place down the road. So really knowing the answers here help your business grow. One thing that if you're having trouble answering any of these as we kind of talk through them, think of one specific person or group who is your target audience, your customer, if it's a family member or even yourself. I know the easiest way to get into it is trusting what you already know and just designing for yourself. If there's other people out there like you, which I guarantee there are, whatever kind of weird things you're into, there's other people who are into it too. So ask yourself, who am I selling to? What specific person or persona, group, community, who am I selling to? What's my niche? Is it cat t-shirts? Is it construction apparel? Is it I want to be the best customer service that my town or city has to offer? Is there not a solution locally to get shirts quickly or anything like that? That's and that leads right into what problems do they face. So identifying what problems they are facing will help you answer those, how do I fit in to solve those problems? Which is exactly the next bullet point there if you're following along. How do my product services offer solutions to their problems? So if it is a small town with, a popular community baseball league that's not able to get their shirts locally or in time for their season to start, that's kind of something where you could kind of fit in. Or, you don't like the cat shirts that are out there. You're real into cats, and there's not good designs out there that you think you could solve that problem for people. It's always good to, it's easy to make the reference to like sports and stuff because like this picture has, there's fans who want to wear the apparel to support their team. And that right there is a solution. You don't have to look into these questions super, super deep, but on a surface level, that right there is a perfect example of a local community wanting to support their team. And there you go. You're able to produce however many different designs, different colorways that suit everybody there in the photo. Of course, there's, you're not just designing for, men, you're designing for women, you're designing these different styles. So that kind of helps you not only offer, have you think about what products you're going to offer, but how you're going to market to them. What about my brand resonates with them? So what am I doing that is going to cause somebody to choose me over another competitor? And this could be a wide range of everything from services to designs to the way that your entire aesthetic of your website or anything looks. That could be answered by this question. What language speaks to my audience? So if you're doing stuff for construction or the trade level, there's a little bit different terminology, that you would be using if you're talking about high vis or durable. This is performance wear. It's kind of, you're using those keywords in the industry and you're targeting them directly at your audience. So it feels more personalized. And marketing that feels more personalized to a specific person doesn't feel like marketing. It feels like a solution for the problem that they didn't even know they had. And Mike, were you going to jump in here? I heard you.
Yeah. I was just going to say also, I mean, people shop with emotion, and we like to think as people that we make buying decisions based on logic and reason, but really when it comes down to it, our emotion plays a much larger role in it than we sometimes even want to admit, whether we think it or not. But this is where having those words and photos that your customers can relate to, it can actually play a big part in that emotion and relating to your brand as a whole. So if you are in a niche that a lot about it, you're positioning yourself to be kind of part of your niche and setting yourself up kind of as like the expert. So I just wanted to say, for example, if you're selling golf apparel and you don't know much about golf, and you might label the towel as, that the golfers use to clean off their clubs, you say, oh, I have a golf dish towel here. That's not what the golfers call it. So they're going to know right away, like, well, this person doesn't really know what they're talking about. I'm going to go find a golf expert to buy from because they're going to know my needs. So yeah, just in your shop, you're the expert. So help your customers, give them recommendations, and then they're going to perceive you to know what you're doing and come back to you as the source for their needs.
Absolutely. And leveraging your own interest or your friends and family's common interest is an awesome way to start. If you're just looking to get started, that's great. If it's, if you're interested in book clubs or, like Mike said, golf, any sports, the clubs, the leagues that you've been a part of, or even like an industry. So this is going to be a kind of weird reference, but a great reference all the same. And it just happened that my father-in-law is at close to a retirement age, and he's looking for something fun that he could do with his time in retirement. And we had just talked about starting a t-shirt business, of course, because he knows what I do. So he was talking to the right guy, but he was kind of asking, like, where do I even start? Like, I don't know anything about the business. But that's the beauty of heat printing, is that the actual knowledge you need is so easy to learn, and there's no cleanup, there's no mess. You don't have to learn the art of screen printing. And so that took that out of the way. But then he was like, well, how do I sell it? He's been in the construction trade for his entire life, 30, 40 years working in this trade. Lean on something you already know. They have needs for apparel for either the high visibility or what company they're working for, what contractor they're working for. I know even like the big jobs will provide apparel specific to the employees on site so that there's a unified look among the contractors, like in a hospital or something. So it's not, you don't just have random strangers milling about, but he already knows the terminology used. He knows the imagery that resonates with the audience. He knows the customer needs, the vests, the stickers for the hard hats even, or that he knows what he liked wearing during his time. And he could rely on that and be an expert to say, wow, I really love the moisture wicking because it got hot and I was able to stay cool and be comfortable working. So like, that's something that it's just, you don't have to look too deep into these questions, or you don't have to search far. The answers are there for you to be able to provide the answers here and resonate with an audience that, you already are a part of or already know. Building from that is you're going to grow your brand. So focusing on your niche and owning it. You absolutely, if it's, I'll use the cat shirt reference or the custom designs, or even if you want to focus on excellent customer service, or you are the local t-shirt provider, or, you do sports printing or like fan printing. We have a local shop here in the Cleveland area that started that exact way. They just did a couple designs for not even the teams, but specific players on the teams that were popular. And now they've blown up to this entire huge, sporting and Cleveland sports kind of clothing company that they just went from a guy in his garage to now they have several retail stores around the area, but they own it. Their retail stores have hardwood courts and they have scoreboards up, so it makes it feel like it is very sports oriented. They have, we'll get to the bottom here, but like brand ambassadors and influencers, they even have local athletes come into the shop for signings and stuff, which then boosts their retail sales. But that's more in person. So we're going to try to focus online here. So you don't want to try to be all things to all people, especially if if you want to sell your own designs versus selling custom designs. It's really hard to mix that business and attract the right customers if your messaging that you're putting out there is mixed. It's saying, oh, you could buy our shirts or, we'll print your own. You would be much better served, especially just starting out, to focus on one and then branch out once you're comfortable with one. Because you could bury yourself easily with work, and then, you're detracting from what your passion is, what you actually wanted to start the business for, or what's actually making you money. So it's good not to be distracted, focus on one thing and just own it. And that is perfect moving into the next point here. Be good at something and make it your value proposition. So the value proposition for your industry is your customers asking, why would I buy from you? So it could be anything from exclusive designs or quick turnarounds or your flexibility in your schedule. If it is I'll modify the design for you or design it for you. I need super small quantities, etc. Anything like that could be your value proposition. And so I apologize for tossing out some of these marketing terms, but you're going to hear them come up. And especially if you do any research on your own, you're going to hear these tossed around as well. They're just industry terms, and I'm going to try to make it as easy to understand for you guys as possible, so that you're not continuously asking questions, but we could, get you in the right mindset, get you familiar, and we'll roll forward. If at any time that I go too fast or someone gets a little lost with the terminology, please leave a comment right there, and we'll try to answer it as quick as we can. Like Mike was talking about, connect on an emotional level. A lot of these purchases are much more emotional than what you think they are. Like, yeah, they're just t-shirts, but think about your favorite graphic tees and why you bought them or why you still continue to wear them. That could be anything. My favorite analogy to make here, or even example, is I used to be in a band and I loved going to see live music, and I cannot wait until we could all go see live music again. But the band tees bring an emotional response every single time I wear them. I remember the show that I bought it at, or I remember the band that, the shirt is for, and it makes me smile. If it's a one show or a tour or, anything that I was a part of in the audience, that it was a huge emotional experience for me, and it still brings that response. I mean, 5, 10, 15 years later that I have shirts that I will still wear. I love the art on them. I love the fit. And I feel like they represent me. So that's kind of that emotional level. I love the photo here on the side that shows these raving fans, because when you're growing your brand, you need to not think about your customers as customers. You kind of need to think about them as fans. Keep them engaged. What do you want? What content do they want to see that they're going to like, that they want to consume? And that's going to keep it going. Like with the sports company here locally, I'll use them again, but it was these fantastic designs that were quirky or worked on nicknames that nobody else was doing. And the city of Cleveland just absolutely loved it and ate it up. And so they just kind of leaned into it and continued to do it. And it just never got old. There's always new players coming into town. There's always new sports, or, when the Cavaliers make it to the finals, if it's anything local that really kind of brings these people together, brings a moment or an event that everybody could relate to, it becomes an emotional response, and people are raving fans of your brand. So,
right. Yeah, Dave, good
go
point
ahead,
there.
Mike. Absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to say, a printed T-shirt, it's not just a piece of clothing. You think, you're not just everybody wears t-shirts, so they just need something to wear. But really, I mean, when you print on a t-shirt, that becomes more than now just a shirt, because now you're representing, whoever's wearing it. It's representing who they are. It's like what their interests are, what they're a part of, their identity, a sense of belonging. So as soon as now they're wearing something they're interested in, they're now going to incorporate, your brand into that as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And as we kind of get into the brand ambassadors' influences here, it's another way to grab a different audience, because then now you're grabbing fans of these people. And it's not just, it's not just Instagram influencers, but people who are big in whatever niche you're trying to serve. Absolutely get in contact with them, reach out, send them a few shirts, and that kind of marketing exposure online or on social media or on their channels, and your exposure, your brand's exposure to their audience could help grow your audience tenfold, especially if you're just starting out. And if you're able to serve that person, or, it could be a moderately low marketing spend to send them a couple shirts, but getting them involved, just like that sports reference I made earlier, bringing them into the store drives sales. But the same thing would happen online. I've seen so many people sending shirts to athletes everywhere who have these huge social media followings, and it's one picture and they're in their shirt, and now everybody wants that shirt. So you never know when one of these kind of viral moments will strike, and positioning your business in the best way possible to try to capitalize on anything like that is just, it's awesome. And the marketing spend on it could cost you a couple t-shirts and a couple minutes of your time to email somebody, or, say, hey, could I send you some t-shirts? I have a new t-shirt business. I think you would really like these designs. Send them a screenshot of it, or just, hey, what's your address? I'd love to send you some stuff. Don't be creepy about asking addresses of strangers, but it's good to build, especially if you're already following them and you've engaged with them on social media. They know who you are. You're not a complete stranger, but you're still a stranger from the internet. So absolutely be respectful when you're reaching out to people like this. And that's going to, help you. But also, it's not just other people. It is yourself. So you should be your number one brand ambassador. So we even have, like in our marketing kit that we send out, one of the transfers is a full-size center chest t-shirt transfer that says, I print custom t-shirts, which if you go wear that out, you could be a brand ambassador for your brand and be, I print custom t-shirts. It starts a conversation, and you are the face of your business. You are the touch point that person has, even without seeing anything else. So that works the same way online. As any interaction you make online, you are representing your company. Be it you want to be, friendly, or you are the sports expert, you are the sports fanatic, the lover, and you could start to engage with people and they'll see your expertise and be like, wow, this guy knows a lot of stats about the 1976 Cleveland Browns. And then you go from there. But they're able to kind of trace the line from what your business is to what your interests are, and it just really helps you grow. Like right now, I am a brand ambassador for Transfer Express. I am adhering to the values of the company. I really want everybody to succeed. I am being friendly. I'm offering expert advice and the great customer experience that Transfer Express is known for. So just as something as small as this is, I am the touch point. I am being a brand ambassador, which I am not. This is not my company, but I absolutely love helping people, and I'm more than happy to represent this brand and be a part of this family. So, Mike, do you have anything on? Yeah,
Yeah. Well, the other important piece, I think, to focusing in on a niche and owning it is, while you might not be a household name, your brand across America like maybe Nike is, but the thing is, when you focus on a niche, you can become a household name within that. And, it's among people who love what you're selling. And again, these become your loyal fans and eventually your brand ambassadors, because these people are going to be talking about you to others in the, in their same interest circle and whatnot. So yeah, you might be able to become the household name within your niche. And whether that's, selling custom apparel in your region, in your city, things like that, or even if it's selling, like you said, Dave, cat t-shirts or whatever, then the online cat community eventually is probably going to hear about your cat t-shirts.
Yep, and it's way easier to get in because Nike owns, it's a lot of fashion. It's, it's sports apparel. It's actual performance wear, where they have this broad net and this brand that's been around for a long time that it's useless to even try to compete at a smaller stage. Pick one thing. If it is football in this specific region, or, if anything, there's, Nike even does tennis stuff. So if it's tennis for the Southeast United States, this is where we're going to focus. We're going to have our imagery with palm trees and beaches. And I used to live in the Southeast, and I know that tennis is a big thing. But so there's all these little niches and little corners of industries that you could position yourself in and have way more brand exposure and success, instead of just going all out, all at the beginning and saying, I'm for everyone, because that's just so much harder to resonate with people in there. Anything else?
Yeah, I just see here Sabrina has a pretty good question here. How do you separate people who want to represent your brand and people that just want some cute free teas? Sabrina, I think this goes back to, your marketing, and we can get into this a little bit more as we go. These continued added touch points that we'll get into. Eventually people are not going to be, you're not going to be just out there giving away free t-shirts, and you don't want to just be doing that because you're in business to make money. So again, your messaging over time is going to get within the larger community of your niche, and then it's just going to kind of take over. So Absolutely. I think you're going to weed out the people who are just looking for free teas here and there.
Absolutely. And you could even weed that out by not even offering, but you yourself go out and seek the people that you want to give the free stuff to, that you want to represent your brand. And you'll find that people more often than not are more than willing to help other people out, as long as they're not competing with their specific industry. If it's, hey, I made this really cool design, for your school or your business, and I want you to wear it, I could print you a few of them. You've already identified that they have a large audience that's going to be beneficial to you. Like, one thing when we're especially going out and looking for at least just Transfer Express, we use influencers on YouTube and social media, from TikTok to Facebook and Instagram. It's these people who we see have a following and are putting out the content that we ourselves want to watch. So it's not just someone saying, hey, I want to represent your brand. You do a little research into them and see, oh, well, you have 140 followers on Instagram. I'm starting my t-shirt business. I already have 300. Oh, and I've seen some of the comments you've left on people's pages that don't affiliate with my brand. I don't want that negativity. I don't want you cramping my vibe. In a way, you want to select people that are absolutely going to represent you in the right light. And Alex, you say contacting them through the social media channel. Most of the social media channels have ways to interact with somebody if they post a website, or they're, you could track them down based on email, usually in some way or another. But yeah, direct messaging somebody right away and saying, hey, I really love what you're doing. I'm doing something that could be beneficial. Would you love to collaborate? And that's something that we're actually going to get into a little bit later when we talk about social media, because it absolutely is awesome to grow your brand, and or people are really willing to collaborate, especially in the creative space of creating custom t-shirts. There's a lot of people who always wanted to do it and just never have had the opportunity to do it. And you already being here and dedicating yourself to the education of wanting to better your brand, you're already a step ahead of anybody else. And especially if they are maybe an athlete, or they have their own business, or they're doing something else that takes most of their time, they don't even have time to look into it. It's just something that they want to do. And then you're able to, collaborate with them. We have some clothing companies here locally that collaborate with local music venues who don't do shirts of their own. They just sell other band t-shirts, but they're able to then sell them and then split the proceeds in one way or another, while it's giving the brand exposure to the t-shirt company, because now you're expanding yourself to a wider audience, and you're putting inside tag prints on the inside of your shirts, or yoke prints, to kind of get the most out of your marketing dollar when you do this stuff. So bingo, Mike. We'll move on here, because I see that we're already kind of halfway through our hour, and we are just getting started. I was very worried about diving in on some of these rabbit holes, but there's just so much to talk about and a wealth of information. And I am sure we're going to be putting more information together to help you guys out And we love educating everybody and, doing everything we can to actually help you out. So talking about a website. So this is the number one way that you're going to market and sell your apparel online. It is very, very easy now more than ever to set up just an e-commerce store. Now, this is going to vary based on what your goals are. Your website is your salesman that never sleeps. It's always on, open 24/7. Even when you're sleeping, somebody could order and you'll see it the next morning. So think about your goals and kind of the questions we answered at the beginning of this, to align with those goals. If you are just selling pre-decorated t-shirts and sending them, and just, hey, buy my, we're going to keep going back to the cat shirts, but hey, buy my cat shirts, and you want to focus on that, you just need an e-commerce site. Now, where things get a little bit more complicated is the kind of business you want to use if you're doing custom, because there are some good tools out there to allow you to do custom orders online. But most of the time it involves building some sort of configurator. Like we all know, if it's different sizes or styles or colors of a specific item, a lot of times for the smaller business, it's much easier to just start a dialogue. Have a lead form, as we call it, is just somebody to able to contact you. You gather their information and you're able to contact them back. So especially here, we have it written out, the gather leads for custom apparel inquiries or sell your shirts directly. So sell your shirts directly would be your e-commerce site like Wix or Shopify, or even Squarespace does it now. Weebly is one that's connected through Square, the payment processing. So if you already use a service like that, maybe it's easier for you to not have to create a new account, but bring in your Square account that you've been using to sell on site and take credit card payments on, just your mobile devices. But then you're able to set up this online store that's already integrated to all of your financials on the back end. I know Shopify and Wix and Squarespace all have these awesome controls, but it does kind of vary for what you're going to get. The pricing varies, and some of them are free, like WordPress. I believe Weebly offers a free service as well, but you just get a little bit less of the control on the back end. But do not, I would recommend at the beginning, start small and work your way up. Because you don't want to get in over your head with a website payment for something maybe that's not generating the money right away. I personally love Wix. I think building custom websites on Wix is absolutely incredible. The features that you have, and you could build out pages for days. You could have about pages and contact pages and set up your homepage to be interactive. And it's really just drag and drop, moving off of the templates that they already have. Squarespace is, I'm sure you've seen the commercials for Squarespace, is absolutely awesome tool to use. Their templates could get you set up with a professional looking, awesome website in literally minutes. All you have to do is go in there and change text around and boom, you have it. Now, Wix, Squarespace, Shopify, they all have an e-commerce side to them as well. So usually the e-commerce takes some kind of payment processing fee or a listing fee, or you're only allowed to have so many products listed at once before you have to start paying. So those are all things that you could look into to see what your business needs specifically. And then choose the option that aligns with what you want to be doing. So obviously if you're, I just want a website up that says I do custom t-shirts for, the Boise, Idaho region, then really you just need a Squarespace or a basic Wix site or, or a WordPress site where you don't need the e-commerce side. You really just need, hey, contact me and I'll get back to you within, 12 to 24 hours talking about your product. And you can even create forms that'll say, what style are you looking for? T-shirts, hoodies, how many are you looking for? So you could already gather this information and come back at them with an informed contact the first time you contact them back, instead of saying, okay, I saw that you're interested. How could I help you? And you're already delaying the process by one. And that's always going to aid in, putting as few barriers between your customers and you to creating a conversion. So being able to capture that information, if you come back and say, hey, I have a ballpark price already, because everybody always wants to know about pricing. So, hey, I have a ballpark price for 24 shirts on a Carolina blue, basic t-shirt with a one color print. Here you go. let's talk about your design. Could you send me your art files over? Some of those forms even allow you to upload a file so that you could even see what they're imagining if it's just a mock-up. And then you have to create the actual print file later, but all that stuff could be handled with you in email. And then you're being the brand ambassador. That's still marketing. And you're trying to increase your conversions by, you are your salesman at that point, but your website was the first thing to capture that lead.
Yeah, I just want to kind of enforce here that your website is like your home base. So, some people, you might be thinking right now, well, I have a Facebook business page. Is that good enough? And I would say, yeah, depending on your goals, I would say no. You need your website, and we're going to get into it here to do some more of your goals here. But yeah, we'll cover more of the social media here in a bit. But I think a website is important. It's your home base. It's yours. You own it. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I said earlier, like social media could be gone tomorrow and then your business page is gone. All of the fans that like your page are gone. But your website is yours. You have to not pay the bill for hosting, or, if one of these sites fold, but I haven't seen a website hosting site fold since I've been of the critical thinking internet age. All of these are only growing as more and more pages go on the web, and then they're there for a long time. But the importance really of having your own website over a social media is right here in content and SEO. So Google, the absolute #1 search engine on the planet, everybody goes there to just find whatever they're looking for. You type it in and Google's going to give you the most relevant result. Now, we'll add content using keywords that align with your goals. If you are doing, cat shirts, or you are doing local apparel, custom apparel in Boise, Idaho, this is all stuff that you're going to want to put on your website. Google crawls websites. It's called indexing. And they use it's called spiders, but I won't get too crazy technical here. But it is a crawler that goes across the entire website, pulling code and content. Now that we've shifted, when I first started marketing, you had to pretty much tell Google what you wanted them to find. And as we've kind of moved along in the time span of the internet, Google has gotten smart enough to actually see web pages as users do. So you can't really hide keywords in the background and get irrelevant traffic. Everything that Google wants to serve is the thing that you are searching for. So if you're doing, especially if you're just selling t-shirts and you stood up a Shopify store, you uploaded the mock-up of the t-shirt and you're like, sweet, good to go. Not good to go. You want to make sure that the title's in there. So if it's, cat t-shirt, and I have a perfect example coming up in a couple slides where, you put the description in there and Google will pull that description. That description gives your page weight, especially if they're seeing, if they're searching for custom t-shirts or, any kind of t-shirts that you're putting, oh, this is this brand of t-shirt. And you're specifically saying this is a t-shirt, a crew neck t-shirt, anything that you think people would be searching for that specific, that specific style or that product, try to put it in there. Now, don't just keyword jam it. Google has an AI that reads just like humans do. So make it conversational. Read it how you would like to see it on a page. And I'm sure you've all been on pages where you kind of go through and be like, wow, that doesn't look like it's well written. And it doesn't have to be like professionally English major well written. It just has to be in plain English terms or whatever language that you're making your page for. But it just has to be easy to understand and communicate all of the information of that product. Is it available in sizes extra small through 5X? Is it, what color is it? What colorways is it available in? Maybe even I've seen people put the actual dimensions. And not only does that aid in conversions, if someone's like, well, I don't know if this t-shirt's going to fit me well, but it also then gives power to Google to be able to pull that information and search for when someone's searching for, I need a 5XL cat shirt. Like, now your page says that it's available as a cat shirt in the color purple up to size 5X. Like you can kind of see where this all goes together. Jamie, I think if we change our keyword titles, descriptions, will it update in Google search? Absolutely, it will. So when you are changing keywords, titles, descriptions, and updating your page, Google sees that as an active website. So that is an awesome thing for Google to see on your end, because it shows that it's not stagnant. It shows that there's still well, if traffic is going to it, you have traffic going to it, that you're updating it, that it's fresh, that you are in control, and you are spending the time to update it so that they will serve more traffic to you. But just like the example here, if you're selling custom shirts in your geographical region, use those words on your pages with the city name or surrounding cities. So that's something, if you're selling, just pepper those in a conversational tone. Like, explain what value you have on your page. A lot of people won't read them and they'll skim, but it is still adding value to the visitors on your website and also to Google. Now, Google has, there's tons of tools that you could search SEO. So search engine optimization, there's tons of tools that you could buy or use for free that pretty much just use Google's algorithms in the background. They have access to them and they'll run Google searches for you and tell you, how crowded a certain space for keyword is. But right here on the right, this is an example of just what happens if you type in custom t-shirts. And this was here locally for us. So obviously Google knows exactly where we're located, but custom t-shirts near me, custom t-shirts Cleveland, custom t-shirts no minimum, custom t-shirts Cleveland, Ohio, custom t-shirts online, cheap, with photo, no copyright, for stuffed animals. Like, Google straight up tells you, if with the autocomplete, what is the hot trending search terms. So you could help identify these search terms by just going to Google and saying, if you're in Boise, Idaho, custom t-shirts, Boise, Idaho, or Boise, Idaho shirts, or any combination of these certain keywords. And you're able to see kind of what Google traffic is telling you to put on your pages. So that's what the last kind of bullet point here is: search your keywords and see the results that Google serves. So search the exact keyword that you think represents your business the best and look at the sites that are out there. Look not only at the sites, but look at what the titles of the pages are. Look what the descriptions are and see how they rank, because it makes perfect sense when you start getting into advertising and you have to see these things. So Google My Business is a awesome free tool that you could use to just set up a business. Now, this isn't a web page, but it is a place where people could click to your website. If you see right there on the right-hand side, about a quarter of the way down, there is a button for website. So if you have a button or your phone number, people could be able to hit you up directly from Google. And this usually displays on the right-hand side column, or there'll be a Google business listing right at the top on mobile if they search your exact name, which is really cool. Google does not charge you for your business info. This is all absolutely free tools that you could use on Google to promote your search ranking and your business. It even will pull in if you're doing if you also have like a retail brick and mortar store, or you have a brick and mortar in your custom manufacturing and have a little showroom that you want to show people, you could have a map there. Or if you're doing pickups and it's, hey, come pick up here, and it'll even tell you right there on the middle of the screen, you see X for online appointments, X for on-site services, and you could change that on your back end. You could change your hours so that people know that you're open for a specific time. Yes, we're open with safety protocols in place to keep our staff and you safe when you visit us. Anything in there, and this was huge for restaurants as the kind of coronavirus pandemic first started, to let people know, oh yeah, we are open, or they didn't face the fate of so many restaurants that we were, at least around here, where they ended up having to close permanently or temporarily. But all that stuff you could update on your Google profile, and it's right there. It also allows you to get Google reviews, which is an awesome thing to ask your customers to do. So, hey, did I do a good job? Please leave me a review. Now, it's unethical in some cases, and I think Google can remove them if they say like, oh, I was paid for my testimonial. But usually just asking somebody, hey, the best compliment and the best, tip or reward you could give me for doing a good job is leaving a public review on Google, because people will see that when they search, and it also improves your search ranking if people are going to your business page and taking the time to comment on it and tell people about their experience. Obviously, that could go both ways, and people could have terrible experiences and put their stuff on there. But Google gives you the opportunity to respond and allow yourself to be seen, and or usually the customer in that case edits the comment if you're able to resolve that. Now, some people are, a little bit more introverted or shy or don't want to make a scene, so they won't contact directly, but they'll feel burned enough to want to leave a review on Google and negative. And that's an awesome way to save bad customer experiences, is by monitoring that. And that's how you could interact with your customers, like just forward facing publicly on Google. Now, you can list here how I had mentioned that we, like right there, 7650 Tyler Boulevard, Mentor, Ohio, that is where Transfer Express, we are located. So you can put a physical location, or if you're just running out of your garage or your bedroom, you absolutely don't need to put a physical address in there. So you're able to make this listing in any way possible. You could also put updates and posts. So if you have a current special going on, it'll bubble it right to the top of, you could click on updates or products or services. You could fill out this entire page, and then you have a kind of mini website that at least allows them to click through or look at your service and go, absolutely, this is right for me, and then click through to your website and ultimately buy.
Yeah, you nailed it right on the head there, Dave. Especially, how many times do you search for something, in on your phone, and it asks you, allow to see my location, and you click that. How important is this as if you're selling custom apparel to your city and someone's searching for, I need team uniforms for my, softball league, and then it comes up, search your location, yes, and then your business comes up in your city. I think that's huge. So definitely go get your Google My Business account.
Absolutely. I see a question here from Tanya. I operate a home business, a home-based, custom-made to order apparel business. I'm finding it to be challenging in the market with others who are using print-on-demand services. So that is a perfect way to identify what your value proposition is. Is it the low quantities that are competing with the direct-to-garment services, the print-on-demand? There's ways that you could get around that. So you could say quality-wise. Direct-to-garment has come a long way, but it still doesn't have the quality and some capabilities of the actual just straight to t-shirt heat printing. You could get much bolder and brighter colors for way less of a cost and a little bit quicker too. So that's another thing, is that direct-to-garment takes a little bit longer time to produce and ultimately to ship. If there's somebody in your area that is doing direct-to-garment printing and is hitting it hard on Google and social media, you have a little bit of work cut out for you, but it's not impossible to get some of that business. If it's going to be turn times, or if it's going to be the customer service, or if it's going to be, hey, I could help you tweak your file, find what is going to be the best, kind of value that you could add to the industry that direct-to-garment cannot. And if that's something that, that you have to almost even order from that competitor to say, all right, you hear people go into this specific shop, let me place a small order with them and see how the experience is. And then how could I make my experience better for the customer? And then start we'll get into it here on the next slide. You could even target specific competitors' keywords on Google with Google Ads. So as we're here now, if one specific competitor is kind of, killing the business, you get to throw your hat in the ring by using their brand name as a target on Google. Now you'll see this denoted by how you see on that search list. It says ad, and even at the top on the shopping ads, it says ads. So those are top of Google when you want to pay for them. So as long as somebody is not paying for their own keyword, you're going to outrank them on Google as an ad on Google. Now these are pay per click. So you'll probably, if you haven't heard already, people talk about PPC or PPM ads. So it's either pay per click or you pay per impression. And it's not necessarily, pay per click is exclusive only to the internet. Now, pay per impression is kind of stuff that's been traditionally around, like billboards. They have a little, counter that they'll count how many cars drive past this billboard. And then when you go to buy a billboard ad, they go, well, we have 1,000 cars that drive by a day. So over the span of a week, you have 7,000 impressions, and you're paying for those impressions. There's not an actionable that they could track. Now here on Google, they could track when somebody clicks. And for the most of the campaigns here on Google, you're only going to be paying when people click on your ad. So it could be served to thousands of people, but if only 3 people click, you're only getting charged for the 3 people who are clicking on your ad. Now, it gets a little complicated when there are crowded keywords. So for example, maybe custom t-shirts, if you just target custom t-shirts, you could geo-target your area for much less than it would be a global, kind of target for that keyword, but you're probably going to be competing with custom ink and Vistaprint or a larger print shop kind of in your area who's already buying ads on that. And that's where it could get expensive. Now, that doesn't mean that, it's going to break the bank. You just might be paying, $3 per click, but you have to think about what is that lead worth to you, especially if it's a super hyper targeted keyword that gets a fair amount of traffic. That is a hot lead, especially they are searching it out. They know what, they know what they want to find, and they typed it into Google to try to find out what it is. So do research first on the keywords before you start throwing any money at them. Now, actually, Google will tell you who is bidding on keywords. If you start paying for ads in the ads manager, which I could just go forward one slide, this is what it looks like here on the right-hand side of the screen. But it will tell you exactly who is buying ads on the specific keywords. And you just have to click on ad groups on the left-hand side after you select your campaign. And you could go to auction insights, they call it. So it tells you the percentage wise of what other people have at the top of Google. So here, the design by humans, cat t-shirts, kitty tees. As you notice, they've used 2 different keywords in there, cat t-shirts, which is what we've Google searched at the top, or kitty tees. So they've used both of those in their ad to try to capture relevant traffic for probably both of those terms. Now you see the first result underneath those, because if you look at the description there, 200,000 artist design, shop unique, Marvel, comic, tees, and more. That's the first ad there, the cat t-shirts, kitty tees designed by humans. But if you look at the first organic, so non-sponsored, this is just what Google thinks is the most relevant to serve you without taking a dime from anybody. Here it says cat t-shirt. So the exact phrase that we Google search, the mountain. So that's the brand name there. They want to get the exposure out there. But look here in the description. This is where it is paramount. You are filling out the description on your categories or your product pages because it says view our large selection of cat t-shirts online now. That's exactly what I was looking for. Fantastic. And Google sees that from a user standpoint and will serve that up more times than not. The only way it's going to get beat is by the people spending money here. Now, the mountain absolutely could spend money. And since they're the most relevant search on Google, they could probably end up spending less money on their bid, as they call it, because you'll bid for your ad. And that's going to be how much that click is worth to you. So you could say, I only want to spend $0.25, and then you might not even make it on the first page of Google, depending on how much these people are spending. The best part is Google is going to tell you if somebody is drastically outspending you and your ad is not performing well. They'll say, hey, this keyword, the minimum bid on this is $14 per click. And somebody out there is just Mr. Moneybags throwing money down on this click. I've never seen anything that high. Usually it's just a couple dollars is the limit of where people will go, especially on high ranking search terms, because that could, in one day, if you blow through the budget that you tell Google to spend, your ads stop showing. So you don't want your ads showing, or you don't want your ads to stop showing on your busiest days. So keeping that somewhere manageable. And of course, that's going to be specific for you. I'm sorry, I did go back to the paid ads. I didn't finish talking about it. I just wanted to kind of talk about the back end and at least show you a screenshot of what it looks like. There are tons of resources, and I really recommend, I'm a visual learner, so I love watching YouTube videos about it. It's kind of something, it's in my wheelhouse, obviously, as a marketer, but there are videos online that are way better than what I think I could concisely explain to you, especially for like a t-shirt business. But I would definitely recommend checking out how to use Google Ads Manager if those ads are something that you're interested in buying. So Google Ads right now, I would say, if it's not Google Ads or social ads, those are the top 2 places to spend your money that you're going to see a return on investment. So as we're talking about t-shirts and we're talking about like the visual culture of t-shirts, you're selling designs, that's where Google Shopping ads come in. So it's all managed through Google Ad Manager in the same platform. Even video ads on YouTube will go through that platform as well. But Google Shopping ads are shopping ads that display at the top of a search query that is more of an e-commerce or retail item. So if you just typed in like electric kettle, there would be shopping ads for people who offer electric kettles. T-shirts, one of them as well. It's a visual product. You want to see the designs. And this is an awesome way. If you have a sweet design and or an awesome mock-up, something in there, like obviously a few of those are mocked up and fake, but they're using it all the same to try to gather traffic. So you're getting somebody based on what they see. Oh man, there's that one with the little cat and, you know, pew pew, and oh, that's so cute, that's funny. Then you could click on it right there. Now that's something you're not going to get with a search ad. So you see the arrow here pointing to those top two results underneath that shopping, and those are your search ads. So they look a little bit more like a traditional Google search result, but here you could still set whatever you want. So for custom t-shirts or targeted for pre-made t-shirts, i.e. cat t-shirts here, but you have the ability to custom control anything in that, even from the URL, the website that's displayed above the title. You could change all of that. You cannot put your competitors' keywords in there. And there are a few restrictions of what Google's going to do, and that is one of them that will not allow your ad to run. So just the other week, marketing here at Transfer Express, I did notice that somebody was using Transfer Express in the title. Now that's very misleading because people will click on that thinking that it is the Transfer Express website. So you're not, you could target on the back end, you could target competitor keywords. You just cannot mention them by name here in the actual ad text as it is displayed. You can't change the URL to look like a competitor so people click on you. And then ultimately, I would not recommend that strategy because you're going to click into that and that's going to be a click you're going to get charged for. They're going to go, whoa, this isn't the site that I thought I was clicking on, and back out they go. And they're going to charge you whatever you bid for that keyword for that bounce. So one more Google ad that's worth mentioning here are remarketing ads. I think they call them remarketing or retargeting ads. And those are display ads that you'll see when you're scrolling through news sites or any kind of sites around the entire web, where these little display ads pop up on the sides or on the top. They're little banners that appear in between paragraphs when you're scrolling down a news article. Now, these are display ads that you could buy just to target specific, if people are doing specific, keyword searches. You could get in front of those people that way. That's fine. I like using them for retargeting the best because people are already familiar to seeing the imagery from your brand that we've set up with our content that we've created, with the website that we've set up, and then you could target your website visitors. So target anybody who's been to my website in the past 180 days and didn't make a purchase. And you could throw these ads at them so they have these multiple touch points over and over and over as they're browsing around on the web that could possibly bring them back to your website. They are a little bit harder to sell, and they are really, really expensive to target if you don't have a lot of traffic to your site. As you have more traffic to your site, they get a little bit more accessible and make more sense instead of just being expensive for no return at all. So I'm going to jump back forward here and we'll keep going in the right way. And I apologize that we're getting a little long on time, but thank you guys so much for sticking here with me. This is the paid ads and the Google ads. So it's all managed in Google ads. And as you can see there, it looks beautiful and it might look complicated at first, but Google walks you through it. And even the account creation, you pretty much just tell it what to do and what you want to do, and it can optimize the campaign for you. It'll even crawl your own website and say, okay, cool, you have a cat t-shirt and you have a dog t-shirt. And if somebody searches those keywords, it could dynamically create and pick the pages and the content that it'll show based on what they have seen people click on in the past. So it's not as complicated as it seems. You set how much money you want to spend. In crowded places, it could get a little expensive. But you set the ad titles, the copy, the images, what pages they click to, budget, everything is all controlled on this back end. Now, they do have some specific tracking. As you can see here, it's clicks, impressions. You could see the cost per click and then your overall cost. You could kind of judge through that. Depending on how your website is set up, a lot of times if you work through Squarespace or Wix or Weebly, all of this stuff is already in a perfectly packaged form to give back to Google when you're running ads, and you're able to see a lot of this. But I absolutely would recommend, if you want to get your, hands real dirty in marketing and how to inform your actual marketing campaigns, is get Google Analytics, another free tool from Google. But this is all of the back end data on your website. So it will tell you who's visiting your page, when are they visiting, how are they getting to your site, what they're clicking on when they're on the site, what pages have the most traffic, what pages or products have the most conversions. And this really, really helps you inform not only your currently running marketing campaigns, but you could see, oh, wow, this one ad that I did drove tons of traffic, and that's able to, you could inform a future marketing campaign by saying, well, this one worked because of this reason, let's try it again. And then you could try those with a little bit less guessing in the dark. The Google Analytics rarely lies, especially if you're using custom built sites. You do usually need a developer to make sure all of the data layers are correct so that the data that Google wants to pull is correct. But most of the time, if you're using Squarespace or Weebly or Wix or Shopify, all of this stuff already is ready to go and plugs right into Google Ads, which with a flick of a little switch or a slider on the site itself, which is another thing when you're building your website. Most of those pages come default with SEO turned on. Or indexing, it's usually called something like that. Just always make sure it's on if you want your site to be crawled by Google. Did I miss anything on that, Mike?
Oh, no, you nailed it.
That's a little, I'm getting a little long-winded. I could talk about this stuff for absolute hours. So we're going to jump in here with the email list. So we're moving away from the website and actual Google for a minute, but this is one way that you could stay consistently engaged with your customer base.
Real quick, Dave, I just want to throw in here, because we're making this shift, but here's where your website comes back into play, because you have your website, you set up everything, on the back end, and then you start, if you start choosing to pay for ads, now you're going to direct the traffic to your site. So this is kind of where this ties back into those ads. You're going to start driving that ad traffic to your site.
Yes, absolutely. And giving them an experience of what they thought they were clicking on, and or trying to capture a lead. If they're maybe not ready to buy and they're just interested about it, like, hey, we do cat shirts all the time. When a new cat shirt drops every week on Transfer Express. So here, to grow an email list, we use an incentive, a free ebook, or a lot of especially t-shirt sites offer a new customer will give you 20% off your first order. And that is an awesome carrot to dangle in front of people, because most people will not make a purchase the first time on your site. It takes up to usually up to about 7 contacts with a brand before you even think about making a purchasing decision. So it's an awesome incentive that, number one, you could gather a lead. So, okay, cool. I have an email, address of somebody who is interested in my brand. They are maybe a very warm lead because I offered them an incentive to get money off a purchase and they took it. So, you can market to them and keep them engaged. It's a great way to nurture sales. And lots of free providers actually give you tools to put them on your site, just like MailChimp. Some of the websites that we mentioned earlier, I'm not sure if it's actually Squarespace or Wix, but one of them integrates directly with MailChimp. So you just create an account over there and you're able to pass this stuff and put forms on the bottom of your site for lead generation, or pop-ups that pop up, and you're able to offer an incentive, and you're able to get people to get just the content that you're promising to them. And some people will sign up just because they like your brand. And you say, hey, we're giving, like how here at Transfer Express, we're always creating free content for you guys. If you're not subscribed to the email list, I absolutely ask you to. We send tons of free inspirational stuff. We send an invite to our Ultra Color, Unleash the Color, Ultra Color Transfers event, where we're going to talk all day about the stuff in collaboration with our sister company, Stahls. And it just educate you exactly about the product, how we see it being used and having value to the industry, and how you could use it to make a difference to your brand. So that's all stuff that we cover in our email list, and stuff that you can too. Hey, are you going to be printing on site at a farmer's market locally? You could segment your list based on where people live if you took that information on your lead form, or just tell your entire list, hey, we're going to be on site at this festival printing t-shirts, come see us. And it's a great way to advertise anything. Now, Sarah, great question. What suggestions do you have to nurture those relationships when they give the email? So just like I said, any content that you think your fans would want to consume. Now, content is absolutely key in email, because if you are giving content that's irrelevant to why you think people signed up, if you're running a t-shirt business and you start, you are all about cat, you shifted from cat t-shirts to dog t-shirts, and people are like, oh, I don't like dogs. I mean, who doesn't like dogs? But there's probably some strangers out there who don't like dogs. But in that same instance, they signed up at that time for cat t-shirts, and now it's irrelevant to them. But you always have to think about what they're going to consume, and think about the emails that you get. That's the easiest way to think about any marketing. You live in this world where you're marketed to nonstop. And so it's easy to just objectively pause when you Google the next time you Google search anything, pause, see if there's ads on the page, look for that little ad icon. The next time that you go to a website and it says, hey, subscribe to our email list for this incentive, take note of it. There's tons of inspiration everywhere that you pass day to day that you might just not be looking at because you're so used to it being in front of your face. But now, as your own kind of marketing firm, just pay attention to it, because it's so easy to be inspired daily to, oh, wow, I want to sign up for that. That looks great. Or, wow, 25% off. I was going to buy this anyway, and now I could get it cheaper and save money. Perfect. And then the emails, look at the emails that you see yourself opening. Why are you opening that email? What about the title or the description, or is it the sender? I don't know about you guys, but I get tons of spam email, and I'm so happy that Gmail made the promotions filter, because now I could keep them out of my regular inbox in my day-to-day. And when I go, okay, cool, I'll go over there. But even Google still bubbles it up at the top from time to time and says, you have new promotions from these people. And it'll tell the senders. So sometimes it tells the sender, sometimes it tells the subject line. And then you're able to go, whoa, what's this new product coming out from this brand that I follow? I need to click on this. So think about the reasons that you interact with the emails, and you'll be able to craft campaigns that are going to be able to get people to click. Because ultimately, if you're not doing the right stuff, content-wise, or you're sending too often or too little, not so much, but if you're sending too often, if you're spamming people with 6 emails a day, they're probably going to unsubscribe. You don't want things to be spammy, and think about everything as if they're your fans. What do they want to know about? Oh, hey, we got an event coming up. Oh, hey, we got a new product dropping. Hey, we have this sale going on through the end of the week. Now's the time to buy. Oh, hey, this style is an exclusive drop. I wanted to let you know about it, because it's not going to last long. And if you have the tracking on the back end, say, I know that you've purchased this specific shirt before, that you fit into this. Or, oh, we're making, instead of just cat t-shirts, now we're branching out to lion t-shirts. You liked our cat t-shirts, now is a big cat or a cougar in a car, or whatever you want it to be. But the content is absolute key, and incentivizing anybody to continuously stay on your email list. Like we just pushed out the sale for and I'm going to butcher this, but I believe the express names are the numbers that we just sent the sale out for, and that was in our email as well. So consistent sales, product drops. I think I covered most of it there. But
yeah, I just want to add in there, I mean, it kind of goes back to knowing who your audience is, who we talked about on the first slide, knowing their problems, their pain points. That's how you can help them. What are their problems? And that's how you answer the questions to those. So if you're doing, team uniforms, maybe people ask, well, how big of numbers does a youth shirt have on the back? That's how you can, answer those types of questions in the emails. And then, oh, okay, that's the size number I need. Now I'm ready to buy.
Mm-hmm. So we'll keep going here forward. So this is how you're going to use your email list to nurture. You could draw them continuously back to your site over and over again with the incentives or the clicks. Hey, we just unleashed 6 new products. Check them out. Especially if it's tailored specifically locally or solving a solution like Mike just said. Like I said earlier, on average, it takes 7 interactions with a brand before a purchase takes place. And in many cases, I find that it's before anybody even tries to make a purchasing decision. And as you're starting out as a small brand, it's important to make the touch points to the right people, because then it's relevant content and it's relevant traffic that you're trying to seek out for your own website. Provide great value. We kind of already touched on this, the education, the promotions. This is why knowing your audience is super, super important. If it's the wrong content, they're going to bounce. I don't want to receive these emails anymore. It's taken way too much of my time to go through them, or taking up space in my inbox, or I just think it's junk. Please stop sending me this stuff. So you don't want that to happen. So yeah, ask yourself what solution do I have to their problems? What is valuable to your audience? What do you need help with? We consistently just listen to our customers here. So it's one of the easiest ways, especially if you have them on the phone or in an email. Is there anything else that you think we can improve on? And most of the time they don't know your business well enough, and they don't know your products well enough. And so, no, you guys are doing a great job, which is fantastic feedback to have. But sometimes if you continuously ask these questions, the more you ask them, the more you'll get answers back. And sometimes people will be like, you know what? I wish you guys offered this in a smaller size. Or like, you know what? I wish you guys offered V-necks instead of crew necks, where it's like, okay, cool. This is absolutely what we could help with. And or if as little or as big as these problems are, you could at least solve them for some of the customers. And if one person has a customer or a gripe about your services, most likely they're not isolated, and it's more people, but the other people are just more afraid to speak up. So, it's nice to take any feedback that you can, and of course disseminate it, and don't actually change your entire business model because of one person. But you'll start to see trends, especially if you're asking for feedback or soliciting feedback, or you have your Google business page set up and you're seeing reviews come in like, oh yeah, maybe I can do this better. Oh, they think that my turn time's too long. Well, if I just shifted my schedule around a little bit, maybe I would be able to get this out faster. Or, you know what, maybe I'll stock these names and numbers so I could customize things faster for people. So it's all that kind of stuff that you're going to be able to do. And just listen to your audience. Again, we talked about exclusive drops, exclusive products, all of that stuff is all there. Susan, thank you for hanging out. I am very sorry we went way over our time today. This is going to be recorded and emailed to you so you could catch up right where you were when you left off. I really appreciate you coming in and checking out the information and your dedication to bettering your business and marketing your brand. We are here for you. So I hope you haven't left yet and you heard that, and we wish you well, Susan. So now we're at social media. So before we really get into anything here, like the collaboration aspect that I was mentioning earlier here, and the Baltimore t-shirt company in the back. So collaboration for a good cause. They're partnering with other local businesses, and then they're saying where you could purchase them at. Proceeds benefit another page there on Facebook, the Art with a Heart, another organization. Now, when you tag that stuff, it exposes you to more audiences. Now, Facebook business pages, if you've created a business page, your posts only really get sent to about 10% of your followers organically without being paid. There is a way that you could opt in, and you could ask your followers to opt in and say, show me everything by this person. But the way that Facebook has it got a little too corporate there, maybe 5-6 years ago, and they've severely kind of reeled it back in. So it's more organic content and not just businesses spamming your posts and they saw users leave. So yes, Allison, absolutely. Collaborations are a great way to tap into new audiences. But you want to interact with your customers and potential customers. Social media is social, and engagement is the absolute #1 way that you can grow your following by just engaging with people. Like I had talked about earlier, like, oh yeah, jumping in with some sports info or answering questions on another site. If someone's like, hey, where do I get my t-shirts from? There's even social media. There's social media kind of softwares that you could buy, one of them being Sprout Social. It's a little expensive if you're, just starting out, but it could reduce the amount of time that you're spent engaging, because you could set keywords up so that across all platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, if somebody mentions like, hey, does anybody know where I could get custom t-shirts? You could have it set to alert you so that you could immediately jump in there and engage and be like, hey, I can help you out. I have this business, tag your business in there and say, we're available. Oh, actually, I see you're in the local area. I can totally help you. You want to come in for a consultation? Or, it's really limitless. It's however much time you put into it, you're going to get back. Now, it's not just like endlessly scrolling, like, and not just like putting the little fire emoji comment on every single thing you see. You absolutely want to be being engaged and making relevant comments that don't look like you're a bot, look like a real person. Be social. Make it look like you're just walking around at a cocktail party or a bar, like wanting to talk to people and you're excited about it. But on social media, it's a lot easier to find people who are interested in the same things you are, or find your niche that you're, your cat lovers. Go to your cat lovers Facebook page, that you're a part of. And hey, man, I just got this brand new T-shirt. Look how cute this little furry muffin is. So stuff like that. So when done right, you will naturally attract customers, be it in likes or the comments that you're doing or the content that you're putting out there. Because the more content that you put out there, the more people are going to see it. And that's what they're calling the term inbound marketing. So it's not obtrusive. You're getting in front of people where they are consuming any media and where they are spending a lot of their time on our phones. I raise my hand, guilty as charged. But you're providing content that's getting them interested, and then they're coming to your website. It's not, it's not forceful. It's getting in anyway, and you're making the content seem like stuff that they want to consume anyway. This is a great way to bring leads into your sales funnel. If they know your brand and they've seen your interactions, you're being your brand ambassador. You're spreading, your positivity or your love of cats, or I feel like I'm really driving this cat analogy into the ground, Mike, and I apologize. But yeah, these people are a little bit warmer of leads, and they're coming in now because they know what products you're offering, they know what your brand's all about, just by being around in the same interests or the same groups, or commenting on the same influencers or pages or businesses that they like. But being interactive in there is a huge step. There's ways that you could do this too. So like, we always like to ask questions or inspire others to engage in our own content. Here, as you see our Stahls Transfer Express, the two examples here. So like, vote on your favorite design. So we tag in the Graphics Pro Expo that we're going to in next month. Oh, it's coming up in May. But we wanted everybody's advice on what to do. So 24 comments on it, pretty good. And then the other one, survey says, let's hear how you benefit from screen printed transfers. What's the best thing about screen printed transfers? Boop, 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 boop. That's the Family Feud buzzer, I think. But 10 comments there, and we got people kind of engaged. And this is ways that we could also know what our audience wants. And we listen, just absolutely listen. As much as you put content out there, consume the content as well and see what's trending. That's a great way to do it. Following hashtags, or following hashtags and then engaging on that content, because people who are following those same hashtags have the same interests as you. If it's, hashtag Cleveland Browns, hashtag, Cleveland Indians, or whatever sports team that's in your local area, follow the hashtags, follow the accounts, and consistently engage in them. If you're selling sports apparel, people are going to see you and your brand name consistently on those comments. And like, I don't know about you guys, but like, reading the comments is like one of my favorite things about any social media, because sometimes you see the best in people and sometimes you see the worst in people. Sometimes you just see the most entertaining in people. So it obviously matters. And the number one rule of social media is quality content over quantity. So people aren't going to follow you if you're just spamming the same stuff all the time, if you're not creating content that you yourself would want to see. So that's usually like my best kind of litmus test for would I enjoy seeing this in my feed, or like, does this provide value for me? Sometimes it has to be a little bit overtly salesy. If you're saying, oh, well, this is a new product being launched, or this is a product drop, well, I guess that's the same thing, but like, this is a sale going on, or, hey guys, I'm thinking about creating these designs. Which ones do you guys like more? It's stuff that you could keep people engaged. The one thing that people kind of take for granted too, versus the email list, is if Facebook or Twitter went away tomorrow, you lose all of your followers. You may have screenshotted their names, or you might remember from engaging with a few of them over time, but you're going to lose those followers. They still may follow your website or visit your website, but they're not always going to be here for you. And so that's a great way to get them at least on an email list. And you can make the same touch points on your social media posts versus your social media posts versus your email posts or your website posts. But it's a great way to to make sure everybody who follows you, depending on, somebody might not open their email this day, but they were on social media, so they saw your sale. So kind of bringing, just broadcasting everything. If you don't want it to be exclusive, if you want to dangle that carrot, oh, this is exclusive for email subscribers only, then that's a great way to get people to subscribe. As we're moving forward, there's also the paid aspect to Facebook and Instagram. How I had mentioned earlier, you get about 10% of your organic followers seeing your posts. So there's a way that easily, and you've probably seen if you already have a business page, there's an easy way to just boost posts. Facebook will do it and tell you, hey, do you want to boost this post for whatever? We'll give it to this many people, we'll show it to this many impressions, as they say, but we'll show it to this many people and for this cost. So you throw $25 at it and then, wow, everybody saw it. And you could do that. You could target that any way you want. It's not just your followers. So, but Facebook, as opposed to Google, which is why they work great hand in hand, Facebook works, most of the campaigns are more pay per impression. So you're paying to get in front of people, be it a targeted audience in your local community. I think you could get down as close as 5 miles. So even people who live there, or people who have visited, or people who spend their days there, if you're, like if you're a restaurant or something and you're trying to get lunch traffic, like you could target a lot of things. And that's the beauty of Facebook, is that you could target specific interests, where Google kind of leaves you to their web traffic, the breadcrumbs that specific users are leaving around the web by visiting certain pages, or what they're searching on Google. Google knows what people are searching for, and you could harness that. Facebook absolutely knows what people are using or interested in, because they've told them or they've clicked on the content, and you could advertise to those people. So the pay per impression is you pay each time your ad's shown, not clicked. So it can get a little expensive, but you could also get in front of much wider audiences, or saturate niche audiences for yourself. Facebook makes it even easier to set up ads through Facebook, because you could set your campaign objectives to maximize your spend. So if you're just looking for brand awareness, it'll show it to as many people as possible. And they even do something called a recall lift, where you might have seen it browsing around on Facebook. It'll say, like, do you recall seeing an ad for, such and such dog food in the past 2 weeks? And you could say yeah or no. And then that's them correcting their data to be like, okay, well, they go back to that advertiser, such and such dog food, and go, well, these people aren't really resonating with your brand. And then you tailor your creative and change it. Susan, I see, been posting ads on Facebook and still no sale. What did I do wrong? One of the best things that you could do when you're paying for ads is run A to B tests. And I don't have that listed here as an actual bullet point, but I'm so glad you said that, and I'm able to bring it up. But test your creative. So different photos, different call to actions. If it's 25% off, or new collection dropping tomorrow, or just dropped today, whatever you're trying to do. So it does depend on exactly what you're trying to sell. If it's custom, or if it's, if it's custom, or if it's specific pre-designed shirts. But thinking about your value proposition and using that as your call to action, or your the button click, like right here, the shop now is the call to action for the Boeing example here. So Boeing store, 25% off, full price t-shirts. Now this is a carousel ad. There are different types of ads that you could buy, which is really cool about Facebook. You could run one campaign and run across a load of a wide range of formats. If it's the stories, if it's Instagram TV, if it's the carousel ad in feed, if it's in affiliate networks. So all types of discount events to wheels. I'm not exactly sure what, to like the carousels and stuff. So yeah, I would look at the right audience, because targeting is going to be the best buck for your spend, is targeting the people who you think are most likely to do it, and then setting up different audiences for yourself. And then using your value proposition for those specific audiences. Test the creative, test the images, test the, you could test a ton of stuff. So, but going back to the placements, that's one thing that maybe your followers, we've seen a lot trending younger, go to more of like kind of the story format, where it's the stories, the Instagram TVs, the Facebook stories as they are too, where it's all swipe up. So you could actually adjust the creative on all of these different ads and make them look like they're tailored for the experience of what the customer or your user is expecting. And that's really the beauty here of the wide breadth of what is available on social media. Now, all of this is managed in Facebook Ads Manager, just like how everything was managed in Google Ads. This is all on the back end. This is tied through your personal Facebook account, or your business account as you are, but most likely you're already set up as an admin on your business page if you didn't start your business page first. You could spend as little or as much as you want. We've seen people set up everything from, just when I was in a band, we used to throw $5 when we could. We didn't have a lot of money, but we would throw $5 to say, hey, we're having a show, and we would target to our geographical area by where the show was, and able to, drum up some business. And I'm absolutely sure, because people came to the show like, oh, I saw this on Facebook. Yeah, it was probably the ad that we served to you. And so it gives you detailed tracking. So your clicks, your impressions, your spend, your revenue that you've made off the product, and you could kind of set what your conversions are, like depending on if you're trying to get leads or if you're trying to actually make, impulsive purchases. You get in front of somebody like, wow, that cat shirt's really cool, I want to buy it. So you get in there as well. It's a great way to make sure that your followers see your posts. It is a, like I had mentioned, Google doesn't bring everything up for what you're posting. Not everybody who follows you sees it. So it's really hard to actually get in front of them. And this is one way to make sure that you're getting in front of them. But that is a campaign objective as well. Like, show to your followers. I want to show it to my followers. And then once you hit your follower mark, you don't want to show it to them over and over and over again. You could stop your spend or adjust your spend accordingly, or adjust your target accordingly. As we kind of are rolling here, I just want to make sure I didn't get anything, that nothing kind of really passed me. But the meme here is kind of funny. I wanted to put that in there. And so when Facebook sells your information, what you think is going to happen, that it's going to go to hackers on the dark web, but really you just get a super hyper targeted weird t-shirt for Celine Dion because you were born in December. And this is all information that you've told Facebook, that you like Celine Dion and that it knows your birthday. So you're able to target those things on the back end. Now, since the 2016 election cycle and the 2020 election cycle, certain targeting and objectives that you're going to run campaigns for, if you're just selling t-shirts, you should be still fairly open, but they did kind of break away from what it is. But Facebook actually never sells your information. They sell access to advertise to it. So your information is always safe on Facebook, but it's kind of in the industry here in marketing, we think about it like Facebook, the Facebook isn't the product. The actual users on Facebook are the product, and the customer for Facebook is advertisers, because you're able to know exactly what people are interested in, what their behaviors are, and target them accordingly. Whereas Google Ads, you're advertising to people who are actively seeking out relevant services or products to you. Facebook, you could actively seek out the people who have common interests or what you're going to be doing, which is a little scary in a way, that the users are the product, but that's why Facebook's free, because it's paid for by advertisers. Facebook never actually gives your information out to anybody. And when I'm one of the people who are like, oh, Facebook listens to me because I saw a Facebook ad, I was just talking about, the other day, I'm talking about some kind of little counter, which is like a little ticker, like a little stock market ticker. And I was just making a joke about it. And the next day I see ads for little wall tickers that you could buy from Amazon. And like, oh no, Facebook's totally listening to me, which sometimes it does really feel like they're listening to them. But as a marketer now for over 10 years buying Facebook ads, I really wish they would give us access to target what people are talking about. But yeah, so don't get worried about Facebook. It is an awesome tool if you want to market your business. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time I found that it works with a great return on investment if you are targeting the right audience. So as we kind of conclude this, and again, I apologize for going long. We're about a half an hour late, and I really appreciate you guys sticking with us. I hope that all of this was very relevant and really helped you out and helped inspire some kind of strategies that you could think that you could employ to your marketing campaigns yourself for your business. And I hope they make a difference. If there's anything else that you think we missed or that you want to hear more about, please stay in contact with us. But to wrap this up, we as Stahls here have our own storefront that you could use, which is really, really cool. And it's just a yearly fee. It is not it's not a Shopify. We don't take commissions off all your sales, but it's Stahls' specific solution to the e-commerce world. We let you set up an online store here for your customers to visit and buy online. It gives you all of the tools for search engine optimization, all at your fingertips, the products, the product descriptions. There is just an annual flat fee. It's no hidden charges, or we're not charging you commission on every sale or charging you to upgrade to see more stuff on the back end. You could create an unlimited amount of stores, one for each team, one for each league, use the corporate wear in schools, and it pays for itself actually rather quickly. It may seem like it's expensive up front, but if you look at any of the other sites doing e-commerce, the amount of money that they're charging you per month to stand up your website and the amount of money that they're taking from each sale quickly add up to what this costs. So that we've seen this really be successful for marketing for a whole bunch of different industries. A lot of like sports teams for specific schools or school districts use it. And it pays for itself very quickly because it's a way to stand up these almost proposals and pre-sales of stuff that like a Shopify or a WooCommerce, a Weebly will not let you do. So you could stand up these products, have people order them before you even buy the products to produce it, and then you're getting money. You're not going around with a sign-up sheet asking people to sign up and get their money. You could just host it all online. Hey, go to this link and buy it. So it makes it really super easy when you are trying to do fundraising efforts or help your clients with fundraising efforts. I have the power to stand up a store for you. Does your competitor have it? And that could be an awesome value proposition that you could add to your custom decorating business for any city or any like industry, any target audience. Hey, can your competitor stand this up for you? No, they can't. I could do it, and I'll do it in a day. Let me whip up these designs real quick and shoot you over a proof. Boom, it's live. And now your customers can order and already, fundraise or crowdsource this. This is really, really cool. So, yeah, I would highly recommend checking out the Stahls Spirit Sale. It's available on our website, and you could kind of take a little kind of peek at it on there. And we're always more than happy. Yeah, Sarah, awesome. That's an awesome example. Like, you don't have to collect money. And it really, I'm like, especially for the fundraising amounts that happen, which just like, it warms my heart to see how much people the outpouring of support for one another that through all of this that we had. Especially in such a tumultuous election year of what it was, seeing the good in people coming out, it made me so proud to be part of some kind of industry and seeing that you're able to really help your clients and they were able to help you. And that's exactly what Spirit Sale is built for. Absolutely. Henry, there's going to be a rebroadcast. It's not going to be a rebroadcast, but it will be a recording that we're going to publish to our Transfer Express YouTube page. If you are not already a subscriber on our YouTube page, I ask you to go on over there. You can see me. So Dave, one of the newest videos that we had on the Tag Along Press, that's me in that video. But twice a week, we're actually publishing a whole bunch of content, educational, inspirational, product information, application instructions. We have an awesome video about our contributions to the baseball community and what baseball means to us coming out tomorrow. So if you go over there, just make sure you subscribe and stay up to date on all the stuff we're putting out. It is all super helpful content like this. And all of our webinars eventually, usually the next day, will make it over there as well. And so you could review all of this content and kind of skip and choose through it. We're in the process of going through and adding chapters to every single one to make it really easy to skip around to the different topics. If you just want to come back and rewatch this one, you could skip right to the Google Ads part. If you're like, oh, I missed that part about Google Ads, or, oh yeah, the last thing I remember before I had to leave was they were talking about creating content for SEO and making sure product descriptions and stuff are right. So that's all stuff that we're able to put together. It's all on the YouTube page, and we have tons of stuff dating back years and years. We are 100% dedicated to the education of you guys and helping your business succeed. That's what we're here for. If you have any questions, or you want to see content that you're having trouble finding online, or you just want to see how we've been explaining certain ideas or strategies to our customers here over the years, just let us know. Comment, like, subscribe, email us at info@Transfer Express. There's tons of ways to get in contact with us, but thank you guys so much. Mike, did you have anything else to add? That was like super long-winded of me.
Yeah, no, thanks, Dave, for all that information. That was amazing and great. And like we said at the beginning, this was just scratching the surface. So if you want more information, definitely you can email us or check out our our Facebook page also for more questions. Or, if we've inspired you on a certain topic that you go, wow, I really need to learn more about this particular thing, always Google it. There's so much information out there, so don't be afraid to do that. I know today was probably trying to like drink water out of a fire hydrant, so don't get too discouraged. We just, it was a lot maybe to take in today, but go back. We will be sending out the recording and slides, so you can go back and watch it. You can slow it down, pause it, rewatch it. So yeah, we just want to encourage you, and thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely, yeah. And Mike, you mentioned a few things, but I didn't hear you mention we do have a specific private group on Facebook called Easy Prints Dealers that is exclusive only to customers of Transfer Express. So if you've made a purchase and you're a customer of Transfer Express and you've been with us for a while and you're not a part of that group, please join. The amount of community discussion that we have going on in there, and it's not just us. It's awesome to see the community of creators and people passionate about their business just stepping up to help everybody. I don't think I've seen a post on that Facebook group that doesn't have like 20 comments on every single post. People are so willing to help each other out. And it's really awesome. I will say the community that we have in the heat printing and t-shirt decoration industry, it is, I mean, we're all competing with each other for more money, but seeing people like go out of their way to help people have experiences. And it's not just us. It is other dealers that are just, they've been using us for 20 years and somebody comes in brand new and they've maybe been using us for a couple months, having issues, and they are so quick to jump in there and help out even when we're not able to. So it's an awesome place to be. If you are a customer of Transfer Express, check out that dealers group. We have so many things out. We could possibly put it is Easy Prints Dealers, Easy Prints -dealers. If you are a Transfer Express customer, go back through your email because you got emailed an exclusive invite to join the group. So, but absolutely, we are so grateful for you guys joining us today. As always, we're just super inspired by your dedication to educate yourselves and grow your business. Hopefully, maybe the next one we'll be back on with Andy. For you guys tuning in to hear his sweet, soothing voice. But I really, really enjoyed joining you guys today. And I hope I was able to inspire or help your business in any way possible. But until next time, happy pressing, guys, and thank you so much for joining.